I'm going to tell you a story. But it's not really a story at all. It actually happened as sure as the day is long and the sun sets. Fortunately, unlike most stories, this one is indeed a happy one. This joyful story is about a truly admirable lady called Redina who enjoyed life and was a genuinely nice person. She lived in a small house. The tiny house Redina lived in was on a leafy hill. Oh well, it may have been a tiny little house, but nonetheless, Redina was very, very happy there. Anyway, in the little house on the hill where she was so happy, she had an adorable cozy kitchen which she loved enormously. Yes, she did. In the kitchen she loved, in the tiny little house on the hill where she was very happy, she had a cupboard she always kept well stocked. But at the back of the cupboard, behind all that food in the kitchen, in the tiny little hill house where she knew such happiness, Redina kept a little green box which she treasured and thought about constantly. Yes, in her little green box, our dear sweet Redina kept a bright silver key. Oh, how much she loved the key she kept in the little green box in her cupboard in the kitchen in her tiny house on the hill. Now, she used the beloved key she kept in her little green box to open her cellar, which was snugly hidden in the living room under a rug. Well, best place for a cellar door, I say. Well, this was her secret, you see. Fortunately, it was a truly magnificent secret. Oh, what a great life Redina had in a tiny little house on the hill. Well, at this juncture I'm going to sum things up. There was a happy lady, there was a leafy hill, there was a tiny house, there was a cozy kitchen, there was a well-stocked cupboard, there was a little green box, there was a bright silver key, there was a hidden cellar, and there was some sort of secret. Now, you must surely be asking yourself a number of unanswered questions. For instance, why did she keep her silver cellar key tucked away in her little green box? Why did she hide the green box at the back of the cupboard? Furthermore, why on earth did she have so much bloody food? Most importantly, what did she keep hidden away in the cellar? Lastly, if she lived isolated in a tiny house in the middle of nowhere, why in God's name was she so fucking happy? And worst of all, why didn't you ask me these important questions? Do you accept everything you hear? What's wrong with you? Well, as uncurious as you may appear to be about Redina's secret in the cellar, I'm going to tell you about it anyway. However, I'm going to have to level with you. Redina wasn't actually happy at all. She was quite miserable, you know. The only thing her cupboard had in it, apart from that vile little green box, was cockroaches. Well, you don't seem to care. Her secret was pretty damned awful, you know. She kept her misformed child in the cellar, you see. She kept him hidden there because she hated him. She hated him so much that she fed him worms if she fed him at all. She hated him because he was evil, I tell you. Evil! But because of your apparent indifference and total lack of interest in this horrible woman and her vile incestuous spawn, I'm not going to hold anything else back from you. There was a dreadful woman, there was an ugly hill, there was a dilapidated house, there was a dirty kitchen and a smelly cupboard, bed, there was a vile-coloured box, and a dull, ugly key, there was a shameful hidden cellar, and there was an evil, misformed child that was hated so much it was fed worms. And you think that's bad? Well, it gets even worse. That hideous thing in the cellar wasn't her child at all, because that dreadful, noxious, awful woman didn't have any children. If there was no child, that means she may not have had a shameful hidden cellar. If there was no cellar, she couldn't have had a dull grey key to open it with. If she didn't need a key, then in all likelihood that woman was lying about the noxiously coloured box in the badly built cupboard in her stinking awful kitchen. Furthermore, her dilapidated pooky house wasn't even on a hill, and that indescribably awful, ignorant, ugly woman wasn't actually called Redina at all because she didn't have a name. And let's call a spade, shall we? She didn't have a name because she never existed at all. The day is long and the sun doesn't actually set. You see, I made it all up, and you were stupid to believe me. But I know all about you. You never believed me at all, did you? You couldn't have believed my story because there are no stories. There are no stories because there are no words. And there are no words because there is no language. And there is no language because there are no people to speak it. So I know the truth about you. You don't really exist at all, do you? Oh, sweet Jesus, the slate is blank. The cupboard is bare. The womb is barren. The room is empty. My God, there's nothing here. Nothing, I tell you. Nothing. Nothing. Nothing.